Thank you very much. This is me, David Baxter, from the Patient Cancer Care Improvement Group, and what I'd like to do over the next less than 10 minutes, tell you a little bit about who we are, how we came to be, what we're doing, and how we hope to progress. And what you can see here is a portion of the team on your screen. I'm in there somewhere. I'm not going to tell you which of the people I am. You can start to limit that as we progress through this presentation. But over on the right, you will see our logo. The logo represents on the extreme edge people sitting around a group, all joining and working together with very different sometimes approaches to the same problem. And the problem is, what can we do to improve the situation for people in our area who suffer in one form or another from cancer? We're in the northwest of England, as you can probably gather. We have a clinical commissioning group which covers about 320,000 people, and every year approximately 2,000 new cancer cases actually are reported. Now, we have cancer care through our local teaching hospital. We also have the Mckernan cancer services, and these provide tremendous, comprehensive, continuous and excellent service. But we also have a variety of community groups, rising from the very small, perhaps 3 or 4 people who meet occasionally for a coffee and a chat, to something as big as a head, neck, cancer group led by a man called Chris Curtis, and this is known internationally as the Swallows. The next slide, please. Back in 2015, Tracy Whitfield, who was an officer in the clinical commissioning group in Blackpool, Fylde and Wire, wondered what could be done to link the professionals in the hospital in Macmillan and with the various support groups that she was aware of in the whole community. How could the groups work together for the advantage of all of those within that community? And she was looking at that time at the Fylde Coast strategy for cancer that was forthcoming in the following year, 2016. And so, on the next slide, please, a major event was organised in Blackpool. It attracted nearly 200 people, and through a workshop arrangement, many people showed their interest, the particular areas that they'd like to be involved with, and they came as volunteers. Whether they were professionals in their background, whether they were retired, whether they were a carer or a person who had experienced cancer, didn't matter. They had the common interest. What can we do together to improve things? And so the start of the Patient Cancer Care Improvement Group began at that stage. You will see at the top of the slide 2 words in red, can and will. With cancer, we can. With cancer, we will. We can improve, and we will improve. And later on, as the months and the years progressed, new people joined. And Sue, you were one of those. Any thoughts?
I was, and when I joined, I thought it was an excellent way of getting involved. Was a cancer patient myself, and I was really impressed with the work that you've done, and hence I've stayed and tried to contribute as much as I can as well.
Thanks. And Sue has, and Sue is a business analyst, and believe me, the way that she has helped us to develop our approach to doing the tasks we get has really been positive. Thank you. So the next slide, please. Now here we see me again. I'm either the man on the left, or depending on where you're looking at the screen, on the right, or I'm one of the ones in the middle. I'll tell you. Over in the far top corner is Steve, one of our founder members, a patient for many years, now in remission, putting a tremendous amount of work into all of the activities in the file. In the middle, there is me. I'm not going to say which of the two I am, you can probably guess. And over in the bottom corner, one of those social happy events, clearly Christmassy because of what people are wearing on their heads, for one of the groups. I'd just like you to look, if you could, at the lady towards the front with the yellow jersey. That's Hannah Mckernan, who was one of our cancer coordinators from Macmillan, and she was absolutely fantastic. A contract that expired, but she still keeps with us. There is some narrative there. You probably know in the north of England, we are with Blackpool connected with the entertainment industry, and one of the families there is the Nolans. Now, Linda Nolan, who recently appeared on TV after her treatment, which unfortunately is getting more and more invasive, gave the clear view that if you're in doubt, check it out. And her sister and sisters have also worked with us informally, usually, just to keep the profile high that within this district, people may have worries about going through consultation, and the best thing they can do is to go. Over the years, we've produced a number of projects. I'll just talk about two very quickly. The centre picture is on a bus, a Blackpool bus. We were asked to try to improve access to the Blackpool Hospital for all patients, and Blackpool Transport Services kindly did three things for us. One, they invented, with a lot of assistance from Hannah Mckernan, who I referred to earlier, a specific access to the hospital bus timetable, which they paid for and helped with distribution, and they produced it as well in their corporate logo with many information sheets in it about other ways of accessing the hospital. This we distributed. It was one of those things we always like, as we know, to be able to measure improvements. We've not yet been able to measure how the improvements occurred there. We'll try, but we do have now a partnership with Blackpool Transport Services, and I think some better things will come again in the future. We also started to work with the hospital on other areas, specifically connected with how could we encourage people to take up the motto, with cancer I can, with cancer I will. And to do that, we worked with Macmillan at the hospital to invent a calendar, didn't we, Sue? Do you remember that?
We did, yeah. This is the first one that we did, yeah.
And the calendar had for each month an inspirational, the word inspirational came from one of our members, picture of somebody with cancer doing something of interest. It could be cycling, it might have been hot air ballooning, it might have been gardening. Steve over in the top left-hand corner is a keen gardener. And for one lady, it was the most wonderful picture I can remember. It was her getting married. If we move on to the next slide, please. For every patient who's affected by cancer, we don't want them to think that they are alone. We want them to know that there is support. There's massive medical support. There's clinical support. There's the tremendously professional support coming from Macmillan, but there are also the support groups. Support groups, small and large, as I mentioned before. And so in a way to try to measure what is happening through the hospital, they have provided us, and we're grateful for this, with their analysis of the number of people from their surveys who they now know were given the necessary information about support outside. You can see the figures range from 81 to 85.6. Let's say it's in the 80s. What are we going to do about that? We can measure it, we can see an achievement, we can look for an improvement, and we will. The next slide, please. Then we want them, the people, to have some view also of not so much the limitations. Patients received information about the impact could have on day-to-day activities. yes, this has to be explained, this has to be proposed, but we also need to be positive and to give opportunities. Again, we're in the 80s. So I think what you can see as we look to the future is here's an area where perhaps we can make some improvements, we can measure them, we can contrast them, and we can say that the last letter, the last word in our title of improvement has been achieved. Next slide, please. Looking to the future, we need always to be looking for making areas of improvement. We're working now with Sue and others on our 2021 business plan. We have been working with the research department at the hospital. Can some of our patients, can some of our sufferers, can some of the people affected by cancer help in research? We're making links to all the tumour support groups in the district and hoping that they will send representatives and they can too influence what's going on and take forward opportunities for improvement in the groups. We've recently twinned with the Addenbrooke's Hospital in Cambridge with their cancer patient partnership group, and we're jointly working on some publicity material at the moment. And down towards the bottom you can see the Healthier Lancashire and South Cumbria, the Cancer Alliance and Let's Talk Cancer logo. We work very much as far as we can with these larger organisations representing interests over in the file. The next slide, please. Yes, the summary will be that we were the volunteer runner-up in 2019, and fortunately, and that's why we're here shortlisted for your group. Over on the left, you see one of our inspiring people, unfortunately, no longer with us, and that is Karen Wood. And my final slide, this is what we believe, our advice, that it takes time with commitment and support to establish relationships, to build and maintain partnerships, and then to create sustainable improvements. Some people want it to happen. Some people wish it would happen. Others make it happen. And we hope that we can continue to be those who will make it happen.